You asked me to show you how I backtest a higher time frame strategy. Glasses on, and I'll show you just that. So here on the screen, we've got Euro US dollar. Let's just get straight into it. We've got a 4-hour chart here. I'm just gonna pick a week or two because otherwise this would be a long YouTube video. And let's map out first of all, how we use the 4-hour for our directional bias. So first of all, you can see we have fractals as an indicator on the 4-hour chart. This is to define highs and lows without considering other high points, other wicks that you're not too sure about whether that's going to be something that you want to trade from. So we use that indicator just to make things as clear as possible, making things really black and white. So we use a horizontal ray first of all for the most recent price, which you can see is this high point. And we're trailing back to see where the range low is. Now we just basically use the most recent fractal low, which is this one. Super simple, right? Now there was what you might call a break of structure. There was a previous fractal high that was broken here. And even though it was initially a wick, we had two body closes above then, indicating there is momentum in the market. We call this follow through, which means when we put our premium versus discount tool on, we are waiting for price to come back into discount, and then we're looking only for buys. So we'll see what happens with the 4-hour next, and are we going to get it pull into discount, or are we going to get a new interaction with the highs and then we reevaluate? So let's use the bar replay and play this forwards. Okay, so we get a new fractal high form and we get interaction with that. So that then cancels that previous rule. We're now looking at a fresh slate. So we move our 4-hour high to most recent price. We move our range up as well. Have we had a new fractal low form? No. So that range low stays where it is. But the key important factor is here is what is price doing? How has it interacted with that liquidity pool? How has it interacted with that 4-hour high? So we've had a wick break and close. Immediate wick close is no follow through. There's lack of follow through to the upside. Also, you can see it's quite overextended. You might want to factor that in with your experience. But what we're doing now in premium is we're looking only for sells. So let's drop to the 15-minute chart and see if something sets up. So what do we use on the 15-minute as our entry model? So we use a 15-minute range box. So from that previous day, you're trailing it to current price. And again, like the 4-hour, dragging it to the most recent fractal low. And then we can see through Asia, it pierced above and it went higher. Trail it to the most recent low and our range is now smaller. Come into London open and it breaks the low and trail it to the most recent fractal high. This is our current 15-minute range. Remember, our 4-hour directional bias is short. Why? Because it interacted with a 4-hour liquidity pool, that fractal high. We had no follow through to the upside. We are looking for sells only. So what's our entry model criteria here? We're waiting for a kill zone session. It has to be within London or New York. And we have to have either one of two things, either a 15-minute range high liquidity sweep or an internal most recent fractal sweep. So let's play this forwards during London and we'll see what happens. So it breaks the low and it forms a new fractal high. Let's bring this back here. Now, this could be an entry here. If this pushes and interacts with this high, this fractal, which is also our range high, then we will be looking to take a sell. Let's drag that a little bit lower. Okay, and we're outside of session. So we're now in what we'd call dead man zone. So we're off doing other things. And this is the freedom about the higher time frame, and especially using kill zones for your entries. You're not sat at the charts all day. If the entry's not there, you're walking away. If you're not in kill zone, you're not even at your chart, right? Unless you're backtesting. So let's play this forward until we get to New York. And we're still containing this 15-minute range currently. And we're inside New York session now. So we also, bear in mind, have a internal most recent fractal point. So it can either take this and we get an entry, or it might push higher and take the range high for another entry short. We'll see what happens first. So here we interact with a most recent fractal. We get a new one form actually. And it's actually the bullish candle that interacts with it. So we're inside New York session, we're inside premium of 4 hour, looking for sells only. We have interaction with an internal most recent fractal. What we want to do here, we want to think about where to place our stop loss. First of all, can we get a 1 to 3 to the lows? And can we put our stop loss somewhere that's potentially safer than just doing that, right? So the most recent fractal was here, price pushed higher than, so you need at least a 1 or 2 pips above that. And the next kind of solid protection area is this one up here. Can we get still a 1 to 3 if we place our stop loss above, let's say, London kill zone? So if we give it a 27 pip stop, we don't need a 1 to 5. We only need a 1 to 3. We're risking 1% per trade every single time. We're not taking any break evens. We're not taking any partials. We're using a sell stop, which has been triggered in now. It's been tagged in now. And we play this forward and just see what happens. So it pushes higher. It maintains within that range. Doesn't quite get to London highs. And will it get to TP? We'll see what happens. Play this a bit faster. Yeah. So by London the next day, we get another push lower because we didn't have any momentum to the upside. Momentum had shifted to the downside. Hence, we were only looking for shorts. You can see that that stop loss placement is very key because this would have been a loss. It would have been a valid loss, but it would have been potentially an unnecessary loss. If I had my stop loss where I did and had it protected and this 4 hour range was tighter and I could not get a 3 to 1, I would not have taken that trade. It would have invalidated that trade idea. So we've taken 3% off the market, we're chilled, and we've interacted with the 4 hour low. So we're coming back to the 4 hour time frame and we're reevaluating the 4 hour for directional bias. What have we had? We've had a bearish body close below that most recent fractal low. That means it's unconfirmed. We're sat on our hands. We need to wait for another 4 hour candle to form before we do something. What's that next candle? Is it bullish or is it bearish? It's bullish. That then gives us the indication that we have got no follow through to the downside. What does that mean? It means we're looking for buys. So we mark this out as NFT. We move our premium versus discount. Do we have a new fractal high? No, it's the same one. So this is our current range. Now we've got NFT to the downside, basically the opposite of what we've just done selling. We're only looking for buys and we're only looking for buys from discounted pricing. So 15-minute, looking for entries. We need to think about the timing of this candle as well. This first bullish candle closed 2 p.m. When you're switching between the time frames on backtesting, it's really important you get that right. Yeah, so it was during New York, because basically the New York highs was the confirmation. So you're not looking to enter anything before because you would have had unconfirmed at that point. You would have been waiting. So New York's over. Let's just shift through Asia because we're not trading that. There's no need to look at price action and what's been forming at that time. One thing we do need to do though is we need to trail our 15-minute range box and make sure that we're caught up with current price. So we can see that it broke all these lows. Where's the lowest point? Down here. Now trail it from that low back to the most recent fractal. That is our current 15-minute range. So we're contained, we're looking for buys only, and we are in discount. We can even mark a blue ray here just to make sure we're only looking for buys below this blue line. And if price action interacts with this 4 hour range low, then we're going to have to reevaluate what's happening on the 4 hour. So we're waiting for London session to start, which is actually earlier than this. We've got 8 a.m. the time change. This is something to be wary of. We've literally had a time change this day. So daylight savings, we move this back 8 a.m. till 10 for kill zones. It's very important to check your timings when you're back testing. So you can see the previous day, this indicator is now changed to 7 a.m. But today it's 8 a.m. There was a change in time, so change your indicators accordingly. So very, very important, because if you had not changed your settings, you would have likely not taken this trade that's set up. So we're inside a 15-minute range, right? Just like we were up here, we had an internal range sweep. What have we had here? We've had a London kill zone. We've had an internal range sweep. We're looking for buys. We're sat in discount. We have a valid trade here. It's a internal fractal sweep. And importantly, it's the most recent fractal sweep. Who cares about these ones over here? We don't. It's the most recent. And the candle that swept is the one that we set the order on. I know I've skipped ahead here because I'm talking. But now let's have a look at kind of protection points. Do we have anything? Well, we have this one here. So if we use a little bit more protection, so it's probably 2 or 3 pips lower than the actual low of the candle. And can we get a 1 to 3 before the 4-hour highs? Well, yeah, of course we can, because the 4-hour highs are all the way up here. So we're using a buy stop order. It's not market execution. We can see the next candle tagged me in. Is this going to be a winning trade or a losing trade? It doesn't matter, because our strike rate is on average 50% or above, and we trust in that process. We're over Asia here, moving into London the next day, and a very similar trade duration to the previous day. We take another 3%. So I'm going to stop there actually and go and actually have some lunch. It's now 12:30 UK time. It's a bit later for me to take some lunch, and then I'll come back and maybe we'll do some analysis of, it's now the 4th of May. Let's have a look at price action as it is now in my analysis. Now that I've gone through back testing, like I say, I'm going to go grab a bite to eat, and then I'm going to come back. It's almost time for New York session, so I'll have a look to see if anything's shaping up, and I'll catch you in a bit. Let's have a quick check on the charts at what I'm looking for right now. So we're just coming up to 1 p.m. UK time on Thursday, the 4th of May. I'm gonna jump over, this is the live charts. This is euro dollar, what I'm looking at the moment. So in terms of the 4-hour, where we're at, we had our range down here, and then we initially had a wick close. So we had NFT where we're looking for shorts, but that was outside of kill zone. That was like 6 p.m. closed. And then overnight it carried on higher, confirming follow through to the upside. So if you remember what I said earlier, is if we're bullish and we've had follow through, we're waiting for price to come into discount for buys, and it's just hovering in premium right now. We seem to be getting a bit of a push pre-New York, so we'll see what happens. Will that continue and interact with the high, and we'll get a new shift up here? That would be interesting. I'd actually prefer that. Or if it's going to roll over to the downside and maybe into tomorrow, give some price action. GU is a very similar story. We initially had NFT to the downside, but no entries long. And then we had follow through to the upside after this second bullish candle, which occurred yesterday, New York. And then again, because it's follow through, prices sat in premium. We were not looking to buy. We have to wait for it to come into discount first before we can take longs. But again, it's so close to the high. Although the difference between GU and EU right now is that we don't have a fractal high, new high formed on GU, but we do have on EU. So if this pushes higher, it will just basically push our range higher. Whereas on EU, we'd have a brand new interaction and would wait to see as a candle closure, 2 p.m. likely, or maybe even 6 p.m. to head into tomorrow to decide what our directional bias is going to be. Anyway, bit of coffee, and then we'll be back onto the charts to finish off back testing for March. So where we were at, so we had a short after no follow through to the upside, and then we had no follow through to the downside and a buy. And we're looking to see any opportunities where we get a sweep inside discount. Now, this trade idea is still valid because we have not interacted with the highs or low of the 4-hour range. So we're still looking for buys. We're still waiting for buys in a discounted area. If we now drag our 15-minute range box, which you can see has been breached, we just drag that up to the highest point, which would be London highs. And the most recent low is this fractal. So we're inside this range. Let's play it forwards. We're very close to our liquidity sweep here. which you can see then is outside of session. Let's just check the timing's correct. Yep, 8 till 10. So we're in dead zone now. We're waiting for New York. So we'd be off doing other things. We've had a liquidation process of the highs, but we're not looking to sell. Even the fact that it's sat in premium, we are not looking to sell because we've had no follow through to the downside. Momentum is to the upside. So all we're doing is we're moving our range. Most recent low is here. And let's play that forward until we get into New York session. What happens? Let's push higher again. Now we're in New York. So can it create a new fractal low, or will it take the lows of this range, which is just sat in discount? Now, that's exactly what we've happened. Let me zoom in here. So you can see the liquidation event, the sweep event happened in discount. That's the important factor for us. Ideally, we want the entry inside discount as well, but look how close it is. And over a large enough sample size of data, seeing entries like this play out more than 50% of the time is well worth taking it. So what we're doing is we're sticking a buy stop order above the candle which swept. Do we have an area of protection? Now, if I were to leave it there like 10 pips, it'd probably be a bit too close. And if I dragged it all the way down here, we're adding like another 7 pips onto the stop loss, which is a little bit extreme. So I'm just gonna go with the kind of standard 2 pips on top. So I'm gonna go for a 12 pip stop loss on this. And we'll see what happens. Through testing, 1 to 2 pips really breathing space is pretty good. Ideally, if you can protect it behind something, that's ideal. And also remember the factor, can we get a 1 to 3 to the highs? Yes, we definitely can. So let's see what happens here. Play this forwards. A little bit of drawdown to begin with for maybe like 15 to 20 minutes. We were hovering around, but nowhere really near our stop loss. It actually didn't print lower than the candle which swept, which was nice. But remember, we're not moving to break even. We're not taking any partials. This is basically a set and forget. We're off doing other things right now. It's going to take at least a number of hours for your trade to play out. Even if it's going to hit stop loss, it's going to take a number of hours to do that. This is exactly the reason we don't use a break-even method, because if you move your stop to your entry point, you would have taken a break-even and you would have missed out on 3% TP. So we've now had 3 trades, 3 wins. Of course, this is a 100% strike rate at the minute, but there's bound to be losses. This is only over a period of, let's have a look, 5 days. This is 1 week, right? This is a very fruitful week. Usually you get maybe 1 winner a week on average. So, but this is a good one to showcase, I suppose. And this pushes higher. So we're now in premium. We're not looking to sell, and we're also not looking to buy. So we can jump to the 4 hour, kind of similar to how price action is now that I've just shown. It's about here, right? So although currently today we've had follow through and we're only looking for buys in discount, with this we've had no follow through, so we're only looking for buys in discount. We're not looking for sells, we're not looking for buys in premium, which is where price is sat right now. So we're just basically waiting for some kind of interaction with a high or a low. And also through experience, through data, having price action so close to a 4 hour fractal high or low, it's like a magnet, it just draws it in. So I wouldn't be surprised if this went, maybe not the next candle, but maybe a couple of candles later to take out that high, and then we'd get new interaction at some point. Where are we playing up to the end of the month anyway? So we'll mark this in. So we've got April the 1st, right around the corner here. And let's play that forward. So the month is over. Is it going to take out the highs anyway? Yes, it does. And that's basically it. So that gives you a really good idea. I've not held anything back. You've had the full strategy. You've gone over the back testing process for me as well. Of course, I'm going to journal these. I actually normally annotate these as well. So I would look at things like initial, unconfirmed. Then we had NFT, only looking for buys in discount. We want sweep in discount, and you could say ideally entry 2. But when it's that close and you've got enough data to back that up, not every single one's gonna play out, but as long as over 50% of them play out, you're 3-1, so you're in profit. So annotate your charts, learn from it, focus on the winners. If you have losing trades, just find out if they're valid or not, and then just park that. Don't spend too much time looking at your losers. Focus all of your time on the winners, because it's gonna build discipline, it's gonna build confidence, it's gonna give you patience, and it's gonna train your subconscious what a winning setup looks like according to your plan. So yeah, thanks for watching this. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you don't miss out on any future videos. Please support the channel. The more this channel grows, the more people it's going to impact. And of course, let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this, if you took value, and what's your idea for future videos? What would you like me to do next? I have got loads in the bank ready to release, but it's always good to get some fresh ideas. See you later, guys.